Got a couple of parts here that we still got to scrub up to go back in there though. One is this gear assembly here, and it's looking kind of sad, along with all the rest of the parts here that haven't been cleaned yet. And for this button, what I'm going to do on that, I'm going to take it in the other room and spray it down with Kaboom bathroom cleaner, kitchen. Here, but we're going to put more grease on the gear teeth once we get all this put back in here. And use my magic fingers again to slip this back up inside there. Get it matched up in the hole so that it all slides down like that. There we go. At this point, I think it's time to start putting some grease to things. Go inside there until we get down to the button. I'm going to pause for a minute. I'm going to leave with this button, and hopefully when I come back it's going to look a lot better than this. Okay, I'm back with the button, and that's as good as it's going to get. And for a 65-year-old button, plastic button, that's not too bad. I will say that the Kaboom did a bang-up job of cleaning it up. It got it this far, and when I tried the magic eraser, there was nothing left on it that the magic eraser could take off that the Kaboom didn't already take off. So, give credit where credit is due. I'm not saying the Kaboom couldn't have done, or the magic eraser couldn't have done it. I'm just saying the Kaboom had already beat it to it. Alright, let's see if we can slip this guy back in here. My dad always enjoyed puzzles, and maybe that's why he had so much fun redoing these old fishing reels. Maybe puzzles were his thing. So alright, well, that's how that went in, but it's not going to go in that way with that gear out. The gear has got to go in first, so because once that's in, the gear won't move in or out. Let's put that gear back in where it belongs. And let's try it again. There we go. There. I don't know why it was giving me such trouble. Remember, this is a piece of 60-year-old plastic, so you don't want to use force on it. Goes in from the handle side to the left. You've got a large side and a small side. There you go. And once it's over, it'll snap into place. I don't know what keeps it from popping out. It acts as though there's a spring inside there, but I don't know that there is. All right. That has all that together, like so. Let's move on to cleaning up. I'm going to clean all the rest of these parts before we put anything else back together, so I can get all this mess cleaned out of here. Alright, at this point we're about ready to assemble everything. One thing I have noticed, remember this copper washer I told you to make sure that this shim washer? It appears that somebody has added this to the reel somewhere along the way, because it is not in the schematics for the reel, but since they felt it important to put it in there years ago, I'm also going to follow their recommendation and put that in there as well myself. Apparently they felt it was needed for the shim. It's not easy to come by something like that, so we're going to put it back in there just like they had it. Alright, next thing we're going to do is lubricate up this main shaft here, 128, let's see what they called it. It's the main shaft, there we go. They're calling it the main shaft in the schematic, so that's what we're going to call it today. Different reel manufacturers use different names for things, so everybody's got their own pet names that they call it. So, but what I'll try to do is, if a schematic calls something a specific thing, I try, now I don't always succeed, but I try to stick with that name. Alright, now that's a rotating shaft, and I normally put oil on a rotating shaft, but this thing's kind of old. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put oil and grease on that rotating shaft. It feels a little snug, so we want to loosen it up just a little bit. So we're going to add just a little bit of oil to it. There, that's not quite as tight now. And this assembly right here, see how it rotates in and out? Well, that is putting drag tension. And so we're going to go ahead and lubricate that. Front side, back side, every which side. Like that. There we go. So that it can move in and out easily. And it was dragging before, but now with the grease on it, it's rotating smoothly. Let's add a little bit of grease to the back side now. Alright, now we've got a smooth rotating drag assembly. We're going to leave it in the back position, backed out. We're going to put some grease on the spring portion of this so that it can spring in and out and lubricate. There we go. Alright, at that point, I believe that this is ready to slide back in. Alright, we've got two teeth on this side over here that are going to go into two slots on this side. And then the screw hole head over here goes in this hole. Now, I've never done this before, so let's see how it goes. Okay, maneuver it around to get it into that slot. Alright, that's good. And somehow we have tension against it, keep it from going in. Could be the gears. There we go. Okay. Now it's rotating. There it goes. Now it rotated all the way in. Oh, I'm not crazy about the way that sounds. It could, but I've run into this before where things don't sound very nice when you first start, but they get better with time. It seems I'm getting a little bit better at recognizing a dead battery, so we didn't get too far. Alright, that pin's in. Let's go ahead, put the nut on. Alright, that appears to not be the right nut for that one. So let's try this one. Okay, you got a right nut and a wrong nut. Two different size nuts. Well, so far I'm not crazy about the way that sounds, but we'll see how it goes when everything's tightened down. There goes the shim washer in. And let's tighten down this handle. I would explain a little why I wasn't happy with the way it sounded, because what was actually operating was the drag, not the full gear train. Now, how do we get this to hold still while I tighten it down? Well, that seemed to work. Alright. Okay. Then goes on. Let's make sure, yeah, we're tight all the way on that. Let's tighten this nut down. Remember, this is our big 18mm. Make sure you've got it on straight, because if you get it cross-threaded. Now it's making a chunking sound in there, but what I believe that is the drag has not been tightened down yet. So that's that ratchet assembly rotating against the base. So let's see We can tighten this down like so. All right, now we've got that part tight. But so notice, see that we're not turning? And that's because the drag hasn't been tightened down yet. There we go. Nice and smooth. Now as we tighten down our drag, notice that we push the shaft all the way out. That's the shaft that pushes against here. So we can go ahead and loosen that back up. There we go. And get that plate back down where it belongs. Okay. Now it's time to go ahead and get this installed. So in other words, don't forget to put this in prior to tightening all that down. Slide this on, and now remember we're going to rotate it counterclockwise until it locks. You felt it lock? Okay. Come back, line this head up. Push the button in so it's the proper nut back on. One that'll hold tension all the way around. It's the same thread that it does belong up here. Alright, now this one can go out here. Okay, and obviously this line needs to be replaced. Alright, once you've got it lined up, set it in place, ratchet the little ratchets down. There's our drag. Tighten it down more and see if we can eliminate the drag altogether. A little more. Okay. Back it back off. Alright. I'm going to be stripping this line back off. And one more thing. Make sure to lubricate your handle. These things are really old. They got a lot of mileage on them. They need all the help they can get. We have the Norseman 110, made in Sweden in 1955, I believe I was told this one is. Or around 1955. But nice reel. This was a special request for me to do this one out of the pile that I had. So there it is. If you look at my intros and see anything else that I haven't done that you'd like to see, by all means, leave a comment in the comment section. If you like what you saw here today, hit the like button. If you dislike it, go ahead and dislike it and tell me why, please. If you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe. And in the meantime, this is Rick Stivers with Young Martin's Reels signing out.